Hi guys, I have a special video for you today. I'm getting ready to make some Christmas content. I have my little Santa's helper outfit here. I'm going to show you what it looks like on at the end with green. Of course, I found this on Amazon and it's so cute, and it comes with a pretty thong. We're gonna have fun. Oh, elf ears. You'll see that at the end. But while I get ready, we're going to talk about kink and BDSM. Specifically, 4 misconceptions about kink and BDSM. Because I think it's super important to talk about. I love talking about these kinds of things. And if you didn't already know, I've been getting my sex coaching certification through the Sexual Health Alliance. Amazing organization. I have been so happy with my experience, and I have been learning so much. So basically, I'm doing an add-on course called KIC, Kink Informed Certification, through Shaw. Oh my god, I've been loving it. We've been really diving deep, and I've been learning so much, and I'm just so excited to share this stuff with you. First thing we're going to talk about, there's this misconception that BDSM is pretty much just like 50 Shades of Grey. That 50 Shades is like a good representation of a kinky relationship. It's not. Although I will give 50 Shades its props for kind of exposing the public more to it and creating more interest in the public to BDSM. A lot of people in the kink community do not like 50 Shades of Grey because there's something super major missing, and that's consent. Say it with me, guys. Consent. Y'all don't understand that this is like the major pillar of the BDSM community, and the people in this community work so hard to educate its members about consent, because it's so important for everyone to be on the same page before you start a scene. We all want to have a good time, right? We should kind of be prepared for what we're getting into. We don't want any surprises. We don't want any accidental violations. How do we do that? We negotiate. We talk beforehand. I am so impressed with the communication skills of kinky people, because you really do have to be explicit about what you need, what you want. Stuff like this is so important. And in movies like 50 Shades of Grey, it's all spontaneous. You want to know why it's so important? Because imagine you go into a scene and it goes left, and it totally turns you off to kink altogether because you didn't communicate, or something, an accident happened. A lot of it is psychological too. So imagine you go into a scene and now your partner's like psychologically damaged because y'all did not negotiate properly beforehand what was gonna happen, and now nobody's having a good time. We all want to have a good time, so be thorough in your negotiations before scenes. And we need to do this more in all kinds of relationships. Every relationship need to be talking about, what are you in the mood for today? I think everyone's sex life would be a little better if we talked more. So different things that you can talk about in a negotiation. Obviously what you're into, but what are your hard limits, soft limits? Soft limits are like, what are you willing to explore that you don't really do? Safe words. Not just words, but even hand gestures. Because what if you're gagged? What if you're so deep in subspace that you can't even find the words? Maybe you need like snapping your fingers or tapping on your thigh, something to signal to your partner that you need a break, or that you need to stop, or you need to check in, whatever. Another thing that's important to talk about is aftercare. When you get into these scenes, your adrenaline is flowing, endorphins, them good feeling hormones and chemicals in your brain are going all over the place. And after the scene is done, it's like coming down from a high, and it doesn't feel good. What does aftercare look like? Maybe if you're someone who has like low blood sugar, have some candy on standby. Right after the scene's done, boop, already have the candy ready. Or maybe you just want a little snack. Maybe you want your favorite snack, make you feel good. Watch a movie. You want to cuddle. You want to sit outside by yourself for a little bit. You want to take a shower. Or you want to talk about it. afterwards, let's just talk about it. Or maybe afterwards, I want some positive affirmations. Like, tell me how good I was. You know, tell me I did a good job. Just be reaffirming, making sure that everyone gets back to their regular state, you know. And for some people, they stay like coming down from their high for a while. So it's important to check in even after a couple days or the next day. Just be like, hey, how are you doing? Especially if you had like a really intense scene. Another thing to talk about would be risks, because there's always an element of risk involved when you're doing kinky stuff. You know, how are you going to be prepared for, you know, worst case scenario? Some people may even ask you, like, what is your medical history? Because that's important. You know, like, are you diabetic? Do you have blood pressure problems? Do you have any history of seizures? You know, do you have a history of depression? Or what triggers you? Is there anything that's triggering particularly for you that I don't want to step on your toes or make you upset? Things like this are important. And do they do not any of that in 50 Shades of Grey? I didn't see that. A lot of your favorite porn scenes, they have this negotiation before the camera's even rolling. And these conversations and negotiations should be ongoing. And you don't wait until the middle of the scene to start asking for things, you know. We can talk about subspace another time, but basically subspace is like you're so deep in it and your endorphins and adrenaline is flowing and you're just willing to say yes to anything. That's not the best time to get consent. But yeah, I could go on and on about consent. It's, like I said, a very big part of that community. And it shouldn't just be a big part of the kink community. It should be a part of everyone's sex life, you know, talking about consent. The next misconception is that kink is always sexual. It is not. There are different ways to experience pleasure. There's different levels to it. It can be physical, like different sensations, intense sensations. It could be pain. It could be, you know, mental, like psychological play. It's not always sexual. There are some people who can't really separate the two. And sometimes there are instances where people are in a kinky relationship, but they never have sexual contact. And they never intend to have sexual contact. It does have sexual undertones in their interactions, but overall, it's not going to happen because it's not about sex for them. It's about power exchange, giving up or taking power. And it can be extremely pleasant, very pleasurable, but not always sexual. It's good to know the difference. You know, kink just looks different for everybody. Some people only do kinky stuff with people that they don't have sex with. Or some people can only do kinky things. They can't do anything vanilla. Like I said, there's levels to it, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful thing once you really start to study it. And I think everyone can learn something from these kinds of relationships. Another misconception about kink and BDSM is that being kinky is unhealthy or that it means that something is wrong with you. That couldn't be further from the truth. So one of the reasons why this is a big misconception is because for many years, people really did believe that sadomasochism is a mental illness. It was even in these diagnostic manuals that mental health professionals use to diagnose people. And in the recent years, so much work has been done to depathologize BDSM. So now it's really only considered a mental illness if these activities are causing you like severe mental distress. We have the American Psychiatric Association that comes out with these manuals, right? So now they make it clear. I'm going to read this from the National Coalition of Sexual Freedom. This is an article called Consent in BDSM, the State of the Law, page 8. This is a little thing I'm reading from them. It says the APA now makes it clear that millions of healthy people engage in BDSM, fetishes, and cross-dressing. National Coalition of Sexual Freedom was actively involved in this process, working to further reduce, if not remove it entirely, the stigma attached to BDSM. Because it's true. There are so many sound mind people that are engaging in BDSM just because they like it. Does that mean every single kinky person is completely mentally healthy? No. You can't really link them. You can't really like say they go hand in hand. Of course you have your unique cases. That's with anything. There are also plenty of people with mental illness and they are not kinky. So I want to read this publishing to you. So basically these people, let me see. Dr. Patricia Cross and Dr. Kim Matheson. They have a study published in the Journal of Homosexuality, and this one is called Understanding Sadomasochism. And they basically did 3 different studies to try to prove or disprove these claims that, SM is an indicator of mental illness. We found no support for the view that sadomasochism is an illness. Our measures of mental illness did not differentiate sadomasochists from non-sadomasochists. Likewise, we could not find evidence for the psychoanalytic view that SM reflects sexual guilt on the part of the masochist or an id-driven personality on the part of the sadist. Our measure of sexual guilt did not differentiate masochists from others, and our measures of id-driven behavior did not differentiate sadists from others. We also could not find evidence that sadomasochists are anti-feminists. Our measure of anti-feminist attitudes did not differentiate sadomasochists from non-sadomasochists. So basically, the idea that being kinky is unhealthy, it is super healthy. Like what? When you allow yourself to explore sexuality and you really just let go and you really trust somebody to have these experiences with, like I said, it can be very healing for people. People can have improved senses of self-worth, improved confidence, more orgasms, more positive sexual experiences. All of these have positive effects. It is healthy, okay? The only time I would say kink is unhealthy is if there's a lack of consent and there's a lack of respect for boundaries. Or I would say it's unhealthy if it's negatively affecting other aspects of your life, like your finances or your relationships. There's these principles of, it's called SSC, safe, sane, consensual. You're taking safety precautions. You're negotiating when you're sober-minded. You're in a healthy headspace. And consent is there. It's healthy. There's also RACK, R-A-C-K, risk-aware consensual kink. Because being kinky is risky, but when you're aware of these things and you're approaching them responsibly with awareness, you're reducing your risk and you're gonna have a good time. But these principles are always being repeated so that it's stuck in people's heads. Okay, are we being risk aware? Are we being safe? Are we in the right headspace to be saying yes to things? Things like this are so important. Oh no, I'm losing daylight. I must hurry. So the last thing I want to talk about, I just dropped my eyelash. So the 4th and last misconception about kink and BDSM that I want to talk about today is this misconception that the kink lifestyle and culture promotes abusive relationships, or that it's anti-feminist. Be freaking for real. So y'all remember, I literally just said in this study that was published, we could also not find evidence that sadomasochists are anti-feminists. Our measure of feminist attitudes did not differentiate sadomasochists from non-sadomasochists. Boom. Case closed. Pretty much, if you're going into a BDSM situation let's say a woman is getting into a BDSM relationship with a man. She's a sub. And she feels bad. She's like, oh, I feel bad. I'm being this, stereotypical submissive woman. In reality, the dom doesn't really have the power. They might have control in the scene, but who really has the power is the sub. The sub says, this is what I'm comfortable doing. I'm not comfortable doing X, Y, Z. My boundaries are going to be respected. And if I want to call red and the scene's done, then the scene's done. The sub is really giving the gift of their body to the dom. There is power in that. And what differentiates an abusive relationship from a BDSM relationship is consent. As soon as consent is violated, as soon as safe words and boundaries are ignored and violated, boom, that's an abusive relationship. If someone's being coerced, if someone's being manipulated, or, anything like that, that's not a real, that's just an abusive relationship. So yeah, a lot of this, you can circle it back to consent. Someone might look at a kinky relationship and be like, oh, that's just so humiliating and degrading. He doesn't respect his girl. They don't respect each other. The only way it would make it abusive is if it really was unhealthy. Like if somebody was consistently walking away from a scene feeling really crappy about themselves, they're not getting aftercare, they're not able to say no, they're not able to walk away from the relationship when they feel like it's not healthy, that is abusive. There is such thing as a healthy BDSM relationship. And of course, like I said, biggest thing is consent. Are both people respected? Can both people say no? Can both people feel good after a scene? Or are they, consistently feeling empty, consistently feeling used in a bad way? Are they scared of their partner? You shouldn't be scared of your partner, even if you are in a BDSM relationship. You should feel safe more than anything. You should feel secure. Like, I trust this person so much. They know when I can't take no more. And they know that if I say stop, they're going to stop. That makes sense. Are both people feeling fulfilled? Are both people happy? That is what makes... That's what makes the difference. I think I could get away with not doing any foundation because I think on camera I'm looking pretty straight. A little lippy. That's basically all I have to say about that. I mean, I could go on for days, literal days. I love talking about this stuff. So if you ever want to hit me up, we can chat and go deep about it. Oh, look at these. Look at these ears. I've never worn these before. They're so cute. But yeah, you guys, I would love to keep making videos like this. And we can keep an ongoing conversation going. I think it's so important for people to be, properly informed. There's so much misinformation out there. And obviously there's a lot of negative stigma around it. I would love to keep working on educating others and helping people improve their sex life, because I think that's the most amazing part of life. It's the driving force of life. None of us would be here if nobody was having sex. And I think we all should be enjoying sex more. Okay, but this costume's pretty cute. But I really, really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that you learned something from it. And, if you did, please leave a nice positive comment in the comment section. And yeah, my sex coach days are coming. Just wait. Very, very excited for it. Like, seriously, working with this organization has been so amazing. And I'm really excited to see how this work just transforms me and how I'm able to transform the lives of others. Like, I'm really, really excited for this, you guys. Right, you guys, now I'm ready. This came out so cute. Look at that fit. I can't show you the back, but I love it. Santa's sexy little helper. I hope everyone has a safe, fun holiday or holidays. And I probably won't see you till next year. But I love you guys so much. Thank you so much if you actually watched the whole way through. But please, like, comment, share. Definitely want to keep getting the word out there. Sex positive content is the best content. So, alright, I'm gonna hop off now. Bye.